This is KVUE News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Terry Gruca.
And I'm Mike Rush. One day after a man opened fire on a group of Republican congressmen practicing baseball, the rest of Congress is demonstrating its support. Tonight, they are playing that charity baseball game as originally scheduled.
One congressman remains hospitalized in critical condition. Others are recovering from their injuries. As ABC's Lana Zach reports, investigators are combing over the background of the shooter.
Congressman Scalise remains in critical condition after being wounded by a lone wolf shooter at a ball field.
It's been much more difficult than people even thought at the time. He's in some trouble, but he's a great fighter.
While 26 Republican members of Congress and their staffs practiced for tonight's charity baseball game, they came under attack. Zach Barth, a congressional aide, was among the 4 people shot.
I was just a sitting duck out there, so I made a run down the right field line. Third baseline rather, and ran into the dugout, literally running for my life.
Also wounded, Capitol Police Officer Crystal Griner, who rushed into action at the first sound of gunfire. Also Mike Mika, a lobbyist who remains in critical condition. Investigators are trying to piece together the motives of the deceased shooter, 66-year-old James Hodgkinson, who had a history of anti-Trump and anti-Republican rhetoric. But lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are coming together for a meal today before continuing tonight's game as scheduled.
We're going to go to the game today. We're going to play our hardest to win. Each team will. And throughout the whole game, we will all be Team Scalise.
And all of this increased attention, of course, means increased security, but it also means increased ticket sales and more money being raised for charity. About $1 million at this point, twice what was raised last year. Reporting from Nationals Park in Washington, Lana Zach, ABC News.
New revelations in the case against Greg Kelly. On the eve of this child sexual assault trial in 2004, his defense attorney learned about rumors possibly implicating Kelly's best friend in the crime. That man is now considered a suspect 3 years later. Tony Polhetsky joins us now with the latest KVUE Defenders Austin American-Statesman exclusive. So, Tony, what happened next?
Well, Terry, very little. According to a court affidavit we just received from Kelly's attorney, she felt at the time that she had nothing to go on to chase down those rumors. So the trial began that Monday. A jury convicted Kelly, and now he's serving 25 years in prison. The statement by Patricia Cummings said that she heard what she described as multi-layered hearsay that Jonathan McCarty had what appeared to be child pornography on his phone. Because of that, she added, quote, "There was nothing to investigate based on this kind of unsubstantiated rumor." She went on to say, quote, "I concluded that even if an investigation of the information was possible, it would not lead to the discovery of admissible evidence, and any time spent on pursuing this type of 11-hour rumor would actually be counterproductive to my continued efforts to prepare for trial." Now, 3 years later, and with Kelly serving a 25-year sentence, authorities have been pursuing that same information. Prosecutors have now named McCarty as a suspect, based in part on confessions that court documents say he made to friends. At the time, McCarty's mother operated an in-home daycare where a boy who was 4 says he was abused. Greg Kelly was staying at the home because his own parents were seriously ill at the time. So a big question now is whether Kelly's defense attorney handled this information the right way, whether she did all she could do for her client. Coming up at 10, hear what legal experts say when we ask them that question. Mike and Terry.
All right, thanks a lot, Tony. Well, we still have a few days before it is officially summer, but summertime high temperatures are already here in Central Texas. Meteorologist Lene Meyer has a look at what we're tracking. Hey, Lene.
Hey, Mike, the heat is on across the area. We have the blue skies, just a few clouds, and that sunshine, well, it's really warming us up. In fact, take a look at some of these numbers across the board. 99 degrees, Austin, Bastrop, 96 in Thorndale, 99 in Llano. That heat index, what your body thinks the temperature feels like, a few degrees higher than that. So even though it's not officially summer, it sure feels like it outside. And that heat is going to continue through the weekend. So we're not quite done with the hot weather. In fact, we've sort of just started it. There's more heat on the way, and we're keeping an eye on what's going on with the tropics. A little bit of activity. It's possible this time of year. We're going to discuss that coming up in just a few minutes.
See you then. Thanks, Lene. A busy day for the Austin City Council as they took up several important items. One of them could affect your kids and when they're legally allowed to be outside by themselves. KVUE's Aaron Jones joins us live from City Hall. Aaron?
Well, Terry, right now the city of Austin is looking at a 27-year-old ordinance that some say is flawed. Currently in the city of Austin, anyone under the age of 17 can't be unaccompanied outside between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. as well as 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Now, if they are, the punishment is a Class C misdemeanor. City Council members Greg Kassar as well as Ellen Troxclair are hoping to end the ordinance and decriminalize the curfew. One thing Troxclair said today is that it's unfair to non-traditional students like homeschoolers who don't have regular schedules.
When you read the code, it just struck me as a little bit disturbing, saying that any kid who was walking, running, strolling on a sidewalk during these times of day can be cited when they haven't committed any crime.
Any objection to that? That being the case, that change is made.
And APD has stated that they are against this ordinance, saying that they've seen a significant decline in arrests since it was started. This item is still being discussed right now, and we'll have another update coming up at 6. For now, reporting live, Erin Jones, KVUE News.
Okay, see you in a little while. Thanks, Erin. Deliberations in the Bill Cosby trial run into trouble.
The message that jurors sent the judge and his instructions back to the jury.
Plus, an advertising blimp crashes to the ground. The injuries the pilot sustained and what police say happened before this crash.
You're watching KVUE, where trust is earned.